everyone! Today I will be finally taking a look at all of the things I bought during Visual Arts Fuyu Fest 2022. I bought 9 Little Busters fukubukuro or lucky bags, and it would have been way too long to include those in this video, but everything else will be covered in this video. And this Fuyu Fest, I bought the most I ever have bought at Fuyu Fest or key events in general. During the Koubaibu last year, they released the Komari and Ding older illustration, where it's a remake of the first press edition illustration of the game. And then for Fuyu Fest, they did what we had all been waiting for, and Naga released his new illustration of the main 5 childhood friends, a remake of the actual menu screen illustration of the 5 of them when they were young, but just now that they are in school and grown up. And my reaction to it was really bad. I was on the train when that got announced and I just burst into tears. It was really surreal. I bought everything of this illustration. I couldn't let anything of this illustration go. I don't know when they'll do this again. I mean, I do know that they do Little Busters illustrations quite frequently regardless of anniversaries, but when we'll see these 5 again, I don't know. And this illustration is the greatest illustration Key has ever put out, or Naga has ever put out in his whole career. I think I really had to just get everything of this illustration specifically. So I'll be taking a look at everything I bought. Not everything is Little Busters, but 90% of it is, I'd say. Everything can't actually fit on the screen. I have the entire key set to unbox as well. So I'll start off with the key set since that's the biggest item, and then work my way across. Here we have the 2023 key set. It feels very weird to have a key set from this time. I believe my first key set was the 2014 one, I think, and now we're all the way at 2023, so it's been a lot of key sets since then. This one is quite interesting since it focuses mostly on the kinetic novels, which I'm very excited to take a closer look at. And something that this key calendar does that has never been done before was it actually has a cover illustration, and 2 of the mascot characters from Lunaria are pictured on the front, and Yuchi was making a point that they have never done this before, and I think it was him that actually asked to make a cover illustration for once rather than just have the usual key calendar overview thing that they put on the front where it's just an overview of all the illustrations for that year. They actually made a cover illustration for once, so that's really cool to see. And it means 1 more illustration for the calendar each year if they're going to be continuing this. And I think it's a nice way to include the mascots as well. I have been given many pamphlets or chirashi for Heaven Burns Red, just saying kouhyou haishinju and advertising the game. One of these came inside the key set, so I think if you bought the key set you will be guaranteed one of these. But I received another 3 as well for some reason outside of the key set. And it's nice to see them advertising the game as much as possible. And it's funny, I think Heaven Burns Red now has had little advertisement things in the past 2-3 years worth of key sets, but it's also got the little Steam logo down there, which is quite cool actually since the Steam version is out. Starting off with this year's key calendar, like I mentioned, we have a Lunaria illustration on the front there. This is really cute, and it actually has a fukubukuro on the side with Lunaria inside it, which is really cool. This is a really creative illustration. It's just very nice to see a cover illustration for once, and something that's so New Year themed. Usually it's just an illustration. Maybe it will be winter or have somewhat of a New Year theme, but this is very much a New Year's looking illustration, if that makes any sense. We also have the Kaginado newly drawn illustration. This was really nice to see as well. This is all of the girls. We have a bunch of the mascots there too. This is very cute, and I really like Mio's face here. And one that I would like to point out is the new Kamome illustration. Of course, I'm elated that this exists, and to be honest, the Little Busters new illustration did kind of overshadow my excitement for this, I think, but this really is one of the best illustrations of Kamome to date, and I really want to get my doll a similar dress and hat now to represent this. I love that the train is in the back as well. This is exactly the kind of illustration I always imagined Kamome having, so Naga did a fantastic job here. I really like this. Next up we have a set of clear posters. This is quite a typical item to receive in the yearly key set. They tend to put these out every year. This year we have the SS Luca style, and we also have the new Primadoru kinetic novel that's coming out, which is focused on Haizakura and Karasuba. Next we have the kinetic novel staff memorial book, and this is focused on Lupus, Lunaria and Tsuinostera. And the cover of this is really nice. It has all sorts of different elements from each game along with the girls themselves, and that continues on the back too, and it has Key's logo at the bottom there. It's split up into the 3 games and focuses on each member of staff that worked on said game. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what Sana from Sajo no Hana had to say, since I really enjoyed her work for Lupus, and the reason why I bought Lupus in the first place is because she very proudly said that she had got into Key from Little Busters when she was younger, so I like her for that reason. There's some new art in here as well. This is a new illustration from Mochizuki Kei, and this is really impressive. His doodles even are really impressive. And we have more new illustrations and of Kong of all characters. This is my favourite character. This is the first time in history that Key ever decided to make an Otoko no Musume, and I was so happy. This is my favourite kind of character, and I really hope that they do more with him because he deserves everything. Would be nice to see more. We have Lunakyun there as well by Fuyu. This is really, really cool. And we even have a little SD illustration there as well from Tsukino. And Tsukino isn't actually the artist for this game. They sang the vocal songs for this game, so the fact they can draw like this as well is beyond impressive. They're not only just an artist in terms of music, they're also an artist in terms of illustration, and that's a really, really nice drawing. This is really nice. This is a new illustration from Soavu, and it's of Jude and Filia, and this is really nice. Very, very nice illustration. These are lovely. I'm really, really glad that they put this book together. We even have an Ice interview here actually as well. He works on some of the music, and he's a really interesting person. He has some really cool music. They were really excited to work with him as far as I was aware. This is a really cool book, and I'm really glad they included this. This is the Arrange album for this year, and this year's one I was really, really looking forward to. This is really different to what they usually do. I can't remember how this was pronounced, but I'm going to assume it's Jukumata and not Jukemata. Jukumata? I'm not sure, but this is the kinetic novel Robot Trilogy Arrange album. This is Planetarian, Harmonia and Tsuinostera tracks, all arranged to have a retro taste apparently, so it sounds like an old jukebox. I sincerely hope that they turn this illustration into something at some point. Sometimes they'll take CD covers and do something with them occasionally, so I really hope they do something here because I need this as one of those square tapestries they put out at Kowaibu a long time ago. I really need this as something else because this looks amazing. I might just display the CD as it is, but I really look forward to hearing these in full. Hoshi no Fune by Leah and Eien no Hoshie by Shimotsuki Haruka, Star Trip by Sasaki Sayaka. It's cool that they've gone back to Planetarian and also Harmonia as well and put them together with Tsuinostera and created this album. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. This year's key set also came with a set of stickers. This is Sanichie from Heaven Burns Red. So we've got Ruka, Yuki, Megumin, Tsukasachi, Karerin and Tama. And this is a very cute sheet. It's very simple, but I'm sure I'll find a use for it. I like that they've included these. Would be nice to see these used as badges or pins or something instead. This year's Emma, usually they put out a wooden one. I've got one actually just over here in the background. I don't know if you can see, it's this Shiroha from a few years ago. But usually they'll go with a traditional wooden one and they'll go for the traditional size. But this one is quite different in that it's a acrylic plastic one. And it is of the same illustration that is on the cover. And I think this is really neat actually. I like the size and the fact that it's clear as well. I think this is a really cool piece and it would be cool to see more of these in the future. And last but not least, we have a tiny, tiny pin. This is Kiropi, who is one of the old mascots for Key, and it says since 1999. Technically it's 98, but they love to push the 99 for some reason, I'm not sure why. And next we have this year's visual style set. I buy both the Key set and the visual style set every year. I end up with about 10 calendars in use in 1 year. Starting off with the desktop calendar. This is this year's one, and in particular the illustration that really caught my eye is this, because it's Sayuri, Minagi and Yukine, who are some of my favourite Key characters of all time. And it is by Miyoshino, and I really like their art, so to see 3 characters who I love so much in an illustration like this is really nice. This is a lovely illustration. We also have this year's stickers, which is once again drawn by Ikeda Jun, who draws them every year. And this year is quite different in that we have one for Byoin or Wakujin. This one I don't believe has been done before, but it's... And this year's visual arts calendar itself has some really spectacular illustrations. We have a lot of Prima Doru crossovers with Key characters, and of course the characters that they're actually referencing. All of the Heaven Burns Red birthdays have been added. I can't remember if they were all in this year's one. That's really cool to see that they're commemorating those as well. So really interesting update that they've made to this calendar, a really good one, I think. Moving on to the main group of items that I was really looking forward to for Fuyu Fest, and that is of course this illustration of the Osananajimi or childhood friends Masato, Kengo, Kyosuke, Riki, Rin, and I'm just so happy still that this illustration exists. This really is the best thing that could ever have happened. I bought everything of this. The cup and the mug cup are in these boxes. And I also got the Fukusei Genga from Fuyu Fest as well. And I'd like to start with that since that is the main item. Whilst this didn't get a reflection art for some reason, it was the Komari Indian illustration that got that instead. It did get a Fukusei Genga, and I'm more than happy with that since they look just as nice, really. It just doesn't have the reflectiveness, and to be fair, I think it looks nicer without, but if they do end up releasing one, maybe I'll cave and get that as well. But considering they gave us Fukusei Genga, I'm not that fussed about getting it. I have both of the Little Busters 15th anniversary Fukusei Genga, the first one being from Kobaibu. This also had a re-release at Fuyu Fest as well. But from Fuyu Fest, I picked up the Osananajimi Tachi Little Busters 15th anniversary Fukusei Genga. I was really glad that they released this. This is a really nice illustration to have. And moving on to everything else, I'll start with the things in the boxes. But this is the glass that they released. And I believe in the picture they put milk in it, which was really weird. I think it was milk. It was a really weird colour in the picture, so we were all trying to figure out what that was. But usually what I do with things like this is I put paper in them. And I've put some paper in just to show the illustration better, since I think it's not very visible without something inside the glass. But this is a really nice glass that they put out of the illustration, just in brown. And the mug looks like this. I think this one turned out really nicely. Next we have the blanket. I was really looking forward to this. This is one of the main things I was looking forward to. This and the desk mat in particular. And the illustration really works well on a blanket. I think it's really soft as well. I'm really pleased about that. And it's just really nice to see this illustration on something like this. I think the colour as well, the fact that it's on this white background, really works well as a blanket. And we have the logo there as well, and the back is just soft and white. And this side also has the logo. This is the tapestry. I have to say, having hung this on the wall, I'm disappointed that the tapestry has this sort of stained look. I'm not sure why it's like that, and it does stand out quite a bit since it's white. This side's not as bad, but even here you can see that it's like this. It shouldn't be like this. None of my Summer Pockets tapestries are like this, or the Zen one. And Zen's one he made himself, so I'm not sure how they've let that happen, especially the side with Kingok. I'm not sure what's happened there. Next is the towel, and this is again the same illustration. I bought everything regardless, but I think in terms of what the illustration looked best on, I think the towel, desk mat, and also the blanket were really good choices for the products here. And next is the desk mat. I was really looking forward to this since I did want to get one of Key's desk mats that they've been putting out for a long time, but never really found the right illustration until this came around, so I'm really pleased that this was turned into a desk mat. This is the B6 acrylic panel, and this is a really nice size. I'm glad they've been putting more of these out, so it would be very nice to see them continue this pattern and make more in this size. And here we have the acrylic ornament of this illustration. I think I prefer this over the panel. I was quite surprised that this did not come in a box at all. I've never bought one of Key's acrylic ornaments before, so I don't know if that's normal or not, but the acrylic ornament I got from Nexton, their moon acrylic ornament, it came in a nice black box, and it even came with a cleaner to clean the acrylic ornament, and it came all nicely encased in the box and nice and safe. This just came wrapped up in some plastic, and it's not as sophisticated as the moon one, I would say. And moving on to more Little Busters items that are not this illustration, we have the acrylic diorama, and this is the first time that all of the Little Busters have been on the same acrylic stand. This is something that should have been done years ago, but I'm very glad it's happening now. I hope that they make more, and it would be great to see another Shugo Irasto because we haven't had one in over a decade. This was the last one. I still don't quite understand why that is, but regardless, I'm really glad that this exists. This is slightly bigger than I thought it was going to be, actually. And this is the acrylic diorama put together. I was hoping that this would be a lot more bright and saturated. It's quite dark and dim for some reason. Would have been nice to see the colours fixed a little bit more, since for some reason the characters in particular, the saturation has been completely lost during the printing process. I'm not sure. It is a very nice stand and I'm glad this exists, but the colours did not turn out too great on this one. Something else Little Busters related, this is actually the Komari ending illustration. This is pretty much the perfect size for a Switch, really, or anything you want to put in here. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but it does have the slots just up here for game cartridges, so I thought I could make use of this and bought it. Moving on to the Fukubukuro, I bought 9 Little Busters 15th anniversary Fukubukuro. This is what I got from 9 Fukubukuro, and I think I did pretty well. It's a shame I didn't get either of the A3 acrylic panels. I would have liked to have the one of the 5 childhood friends if possible, but I did manage to win both versions of the canvas art. I missed out on the Summer Pockets Fukubukuro this year, but I got the Kagi Fukubukuro instead. I bought 2 of these. Kind of wish I'd bought more of these, but it's fine. I already bought 9 Little Busters ones, so I didn't want to overdo it too much. I have received one of the clear file prizes, so these comes in sets of 2. I've got Clannad and also Tomoafu, which I think is quite fitting. I really love this art very, very much, so I'm very glad to have this one. Very surprisingly, I managed to get the Girls Dead Monster cap from Angel Beats. I got one of the pin badges, and this is from Tsui no Stera. And I got a few of the clear cards, so I've gotten 2 of these actually. And this is what they look like. It's a new product for Key and their Fukubukuro, but they're literally just plastic, kind of like a clear file, but just with the illustration there. But I got the Air one, Kudowafter, and Clannad one there too. And this is the second set. I got Summer Pockets with Shiroha and Umi. I got the Lunaria one, and this one's very different in that it actually uses a white background. And I've got another Kud. I don't know why my Kud luck is really high for some reason. I've gotten another clear file set. This one is Canon, and I also got Tsui no Stera as well. This is quite interesting actually. This is the first game and then the most recent one. And I got another clear file set, this one being Looper's. and Angel Beats First Beat. I won another pin badge, and this is the Loopers one. And I have another 2 sets of clear cards, pretty much with all duplicates except for 2, I think, which was really unlucky, but I'll take a look at them anyway. This is the first set, and I've got a duplicate of Kudwofta. This is my 3rd one. Another duplicate of Clanad. This is my 2nd one. And then this one is actually the one I wanted more out of every clear card, surprisingly. This is the Tomoyo After clear card, and I really like this because it's literally just the sprite. I just think this kind of illustration works really well, so I hope that they make more of these with older illustrations. It would be really cool to see that. So I have another 2 duplicates. One is Tomoyo After and the other is Air. And the one that is not a duplicate is another kinetic novel, which is Tsui no Stera. And this one also has the full background, which is very nice. I think these would look nice in a normal frame as well as one of those clear acrylic frames. Moving on, I got one of the Mochi Mochi Dango toys that they just released. This is the first time they've done one of these, and these are different to their usual Kobaibu Dango where they've got these beans inside and it's like a bean bag. This is a new type where it's soft, and when you press it down it rises back up again. So I'll open this up and take a look. Apparently they made this one with winter in mind, so it has a warmer, softer feel to it apparently. And I picked the blue one. I think it was only blue and pink available, and I just wanted a colour that I didn't have yet. It's very nice. I actually prefer this than the beanbag one just because it's soft, although I feel like it's a lot flatter because of it. But it's very soft and squidgy. They did have a large one as well, but I went for the small one just because it's the same size roughly as the one I already have. And last but not least, I picked up the Shiran to Dare mo Inai Umi, which is a CD by Tenkyu Hisashi, who is a very well-known and well-respected composer who recently worked on some of the kinetic novels for Key and also does this series of CDs. This is the 3rd one of his visual arts series of CDs, where these are all concept albums and they tell a story from start to finish within the album, and you just listen to it and it's just a story of its own with the music. I didn't pick up the first 2 and I really regretted that because they looked really interesting, and then when they talked about this one and the story behind it and also played some of the music as well, I immediately knew I had to get this, so I picked this up. And I'm really looking forward to listening to this from start to finish. This has Kitazawa Ayaka, Mizutani Luna and Ryuka singing in this as well as Tenkyu Hisashi. Even Shoyu is in this too, who also worked on the kinetic novels. Very much looking forward to listening to this. Overall, that is my entire Fuyu Fest haul. I can't fit everything on the screen, so it just looks like this, but there was a lot of things, especially the Little Busters Osana Najimi Tachi illustration goods. I'm beyond happy that last year saw, again, multiple new Little Busters illustrations. That was amazing, and I hope that continues. I'm really pleased that they've really ventured out with the amount of goods that they're making as well, and I hope that they continue to try out these new things and release a range of products for the same illustration. They never used to do that as much as they've been doing it now, and I very much look forward to whatever next year's Fuyu Fest brings. Thank you very much for watching until the end of this video. Last year was the first time that they ever tried out their new store, which is the VA store, VA-store, and they have shut down Kobaibu Plus, which has been around since 2013, 10 years ago that opened, and it was closed on the 31st of January 2023, which is the day that I'm filming, and it's very sad to see that site go. I actually went and spent a good few hours archiving everything from that, so I could at least save all of Key's items from there and all of the images and descriptions and things, and just all of the web pages. It's very sad to see that go. My account on there I've had for nearly 10 years. I've used it multiple times throughout the 10 years that I had it, and it's just strange to see it go. And it's always been a part of Key's brand. I mean, Kobaibu is part of their brand at this point in visual arts as a whole. The Kobaibu itself obviously still exists, but the site that it even shared a name with is now gone and been replaced with the VA store. But the VA store had a really updated look, had a really updated payment system, made everything really easy and smooth without having to have any of those pre-ordering your shopping slot things going on. And I very much look forward to seeing where they go with this new VA store, because it definitely looks like they're trying to improve their goods and merchandising. Thank you very much for watching to the end of this video. I know it was a very long video, but there was a lot of things to talk about really and show. I hope you enjoyed though, and I hope to see you in the next video.